Hello and welcome! I am Enigmus and this is episode 8 of Ultimate Feed the Beast Reloaded. Today, we're burning everything we can get our hands on. That's the goal. This is actually a time-lapse of wheat growing on zycordite soil. It's a total time, including the time spent planting the seeds individually, of 12 minutes real time, which is actually pretty decent when you see how far it gets. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this is because it's related to the issue I ran into in that you cannot even plant flax seeds on zycordite soil manually. It wasn't a Steve's Carts issue. The flax seeds and the zycordite soil are just no-go. So, we need to come up with another plan. We need to be able to automate the farming of our flax, manage the presence of slimes bouncing back and forth across our fields because we won't be able to put them on the monster jumping immune zycordite soil blocks, and we need to be able to do it without running ourselves dry of all of our resources. So first of all, we need to get another source of Minecraft jewels into place, and whenever I start thinking about Minecraft jewels, I start thinking about lava. So I sent a quarry into the nether and said, Mr. Quarry, please bring me back all of the netherrack that you can find with your default size. And he obliged. I think I ended up with about 55 or 60 stacks of netherrack in fairly quick order. I was running the netherrack off the same energy tesseract that my main quarry uses. So I was generating enough power to run both. They weren't super fast, but we got the job done. You can see that's actually my portal there. And then I decided to install some high pressure boilers. I always, for some reason, I go to describe it, tell you what it is, and then my brain just goes, nope, I don't know what that is anymore. So I'm going to be using the zycordite shield blocks. I've never been a fan of equipment that could explode. So if I'm going to be using it, I would at least like to be able to protect my assets and my ass. And also the cows that are directly above where I'm installing these guys. If you look in the top of the screen, you can see some sort of crazy white flashing. That's actually the tubes managing the logs being gathered by my Steve's Carts logging cart. And I'm just going to run, I wanted to run some experiments with this thing and just see what happens if I just feed it the logs that are coming from the cart directly without any other kind of supplemental fuel or method of refining anything, and see where we go. And we got up to about 55 degrees. Once this, I just set up this one boiler, even though you can see I've got space for 3 more already set aside. Get everything plumbed in, ready to go. The chest in front of each boiler, well, in this case the one boiler, is where we feed the materials to, and then the boiler will yoink them out as it uses them, which is pretty fast. Not gonna lie. 55 degrees is about where I got with the boiler, so I decided there was a lot of other things that I needed to do in order to make this thing happen. Now, did I mention that I've been busy? Because we're here in my facilities. This should be somewhat familiar to you by now. I've still got all the wooden chests taking up all the floor space over there. I've still got my 4 cobblestone furnaces. Starting to expand the storage as I get tired of trying to find room for things in chests. I just start grabbing batches of them and tossing them in gold chests here, which will eventually be my automated storage system. It's growing a little bit, but we are headed down to our new, I guess, multi-fuel Minecraft jewel factory, be the best way to put it. Yet another work in progress. You can hear the slimes fapping away. I think that's going to be one of our projects sooner or later, is finding a way to automatically and quickly kill off all of the slimes as soon as they spawn. You can see down here, I've got my coal coke ovens going. I need everything that these guys provide right now. I need coal coke to make steel, to make the blocks for the industrial steam boiler things, the high pressure steam boilers that I'm making. I'm going to be using the creosote oil that is produced as fuel for liquid fueled steam high pressure boilers. And you can see I've actually got liquid ducts underneath that are collecting the creosote oil as soon as it's created and sending it to a tank downstairs. Now, the irony is that when I was originally getting everything set up for the Steve's Carts and all that other stuff, I was using these to make the coal coke and ignoring the creosote oil for the most part. I would grab a little bit here and there as I needed to make tracks. But then eventually all of these shut down because they were full of creosote oil, and I was too damn lazy to find a way to get it out. So we've solved that problem now. You can see I've still got my rolling machine and all my shenanigans. I've got all my farming storage over here. But our latest addition is a bit of a staircase here so that we can remain indoors and still gain access to our massive Zycraft tanks. They're still made out of marble. This is one of them. Lava tank. That's where I used all the nether rack that you saw from the big hole in the nether that I punched with a default sized quarry. Out of that, my net gain was 421 buckets of lava. That was after, you know, getting everything up and running with the magmatic engines. Let's see, yeah, they're all out of fuel now. They ran dry. I turned off the supply to them because I was pretty much out of netherrack. These should have, yeah, full stacks in each of them. But the chest was empty, and I said, I'm not going to mess around with it. I'm just going to shut it down for now until I can get the quarry up and running again. So, realistically, for the literal amount of time it took me to go into the nether, place the quarry, and then set up everything here with the engines and the piping and the magma crucibles to get 421 buckets of lava, pretty swanky when you consider now, whenever I want more lava, I just go place the quarry again and flip a lever, and we'll get more and more and more. So, pretty good deal. Not 100% sure what I'll be doing with the lava yet, but it's one of those things, just like water, you know sooner or later you're going to need it. So that's what I did. Now I've added yet another tank here, and this one's 287 buckets of creosote oil that came out of those 3 coal coke ovens. Now obviously they weren't just from the 3 full things. I've been running them pretty constantly since, so that I can make all the steel that I need. But what we're really going over to look at is over here. Now this is still obviously very much a work in progress, but this is our high pressure steam boiler. Now currently 252 degrees centigrade. We're full on water thanks to the aqueous accumulator underneath. We're also basically full on steam and staying that way with the industrial engines. 5 of them, I think? Yeah, a total of 5 industrial steam engines sending power to... We've got a redstone energy cell that's full. It's always nice to have one of these charging somewhere and have it full. And then also, energy tesseract. This is the second energy tesseract that I have that is sending power out on frequency 10, which is my quarry power frequency. And then I've added this. This is sort of the finishing detail on the whole... How the hell did you get down here? You little bastard, get out of there. Anyways, this was the detail that I added to try and get more energy out of the logs that I'm bringing in. You can see I'm actually not getting a lot of logs out of the system right now, and that's fine. I'm not too horribly concerned about it, but each one of these sawmills takes a log and turns it into 6 planks. It effectively increases the yield of heat, here comes a log now, by 6 times. Now, some people might be saying, yeah, it's cheaty, it doesn't make sense. What are you doing with logs? Go camping, throw a whole log on a fire, and then take another log and split it 6 ways and tell me which burns hotter. I don't necessarily always like to bring the real world into a scenario and say, why does that make sense? In this case, it actually does. If you've ever gone camping, you know this. So we're actually getting a fairly decent number of logs in now, and the nice thing about this is these also produce sawdust. Every once in a while you'll get a little chunk of sawdust in addition to the planks. Now the planks automatically route to the boiler, which is cool, and that's, you saw, it's keeping it at a very, very reasonable temperature for producing steam. Now we're at 249, so relatively stable, good temperature. Steam production is not an issue, but also with the sawdust, we can send it to a Zycraft fabricator, one of these guys, and use it to make compressed sawdust. You can see this is the internal storage of it. The sawdust is coming in from the sawmills, and as soon as it gets 8 of them, it turns it into a compressed sawdust, and then sends it up into this powered furnace. You can see it just entered, You won't be able to see this, but it turns it into a lump of charcoal, and then through some clever piping, sends it back around through into the boiler. So we're using everything. We're actually getting a pretty damn good yield out of each log that we use now, as opposed to previously where we could barely get the boiler up to 55 degrees. We're in pretty good shape. I cannot run 4 boilers off what I'm producing now, and I'm okay with that. Like I say, we're going to have some liquid fuel solutions. The tank that's holding the creosote oil now, can you imagine ever running coal coke ovens for long enough to have 16,000 buckets of creosote oil? That was originally intended for regular oil, the black stuff that you go and you put a pump in and you extract it. That was what I was going to do, and then I was going to refine it into fuel and use that as a fuel for the boilers or for, you know, combustion engines, because it's so easy to get water now. But because I needed a place to put the creosote oil to get the ovens working again, that's what got earmarked for it. So I'll just put it in another tank as soon as I sit down to play next, and have that ready for the oil, and then one for fuel, and then one for biomass, and one for biofuel, and we'll get it covered. We will get it covered, and we'll have as many boilers in place as we can. But for right now, what really matters is whether or not the quarry is running the way I want it to. So let's go take a look at that. So here we are in the bowels of our facility. Look at our quarry go. It's finally hauling ass, doing a great job. We're very, very close to the bottom, actually. If you look in the lower left corner of the screen, you can see that bedrock there. So we've got, I think we're just starting to come across the top of the diamond layer now, or, you know, the top diamond layer. Nickelite is just flowing in all over the damn place. I think we're up to about 20 stacks of nickelite pulled out of this, just this little narrow section. So very, very cool. I would like to have 1, possibly 2 more quarries up and running as soon as possible, along with our sorting and processing systems, so that we don't have to. I want the infrastructure to be largely done. It doesn't have to be completely done, but you can see we're moving in the right direction. We've got access to lava. We can use it for magmatic engines if we want, or we can just have it on hand, because we're going to have access to biofuel and regular fuel, creosote oil, all kinds of stuff, steam for running engines, Minecraft joules out the wazoo. We've already got enough EU to do whatever we really want to with. So the next project, I think we've probably got 2 more episodes of infrastructure, just getting everything sorted and the finishing touches put on it so that we can set it aside again and do some fun stuff. But our first major project is coming up real fast. We're going to be doing a red power frame automated farming and slime destruction gantry. That's right, I've had enough of this nonsense trying to find which mods are going to work with which things, and it's, you know, I'm fine with it. I don't necessarily fault, I don't fault at all. For example, the Zycraft developer that Zycordite soil doesn't work with flax, or the Steve's Carts developer that the Steve's Carts won't plant flax, or anything like that. There's so many different mods to expect, you know, everything to work together perfectly, not necessarily realistic. So we just roll with the punches and do what we can with what we've got. So we're going to start prototyping the auto farming slime killing gantry pretty quick. Like I say, 1 or 2 episodes left on infrastructure, and then we're going to get to work on that gantry. In the meantime, we're going to be expanding the Blue Electric satellite. We're going to be doing a little bit of work on at least our auto sorting, if not our processing system, and also, you know, putting the final touches on our tanks underground, because it's, you know, we're excavating and we're building marble tanks. There's nothing really particularly complicated about it, but it is time consuming, and I'll be very, very happy once those are done. So our quarry is going to keep going. Once it's done hitting bedrock, we're going to relocate it somewhere. Hopefully, I just have this nightmare vision of accidentally placing the quarry where it's going to go like right through our tank farm or something. So I have to be very, very thoughtful about where I relocate and place the quarries when the time comes. So I hope you're enjoying this series. Leave your comments, suggestions underneath the video, and I will be back to you with the next episode as soon as I finish digging. Thanks for watching, guys, and take care.